Greetings, Earthlings! The weather is too cold. This video is not about how cold the weather is, but the weather is too cold. I just feel like I have to just say it right now. This is my intro to this video. It has nothing to do with this video. I am freezing. The weather is too cold. And please, nobody make comments about my face. I wasn't attacked by anything. As I mentioned in my last video, anxiety can hype up your acne. I thought about putting a huge bandage over this, but quick story, I put a huge bandage over this thing in the middle of my between my eyes. It's not my third eye. I'm an alien with only two eyes. It is legitimately just a huge breakout. I put a bandage on it so that it would look less disgusting when I went to act with the improv team on Monday. And since it was Bring a Friend Day, they wanted to take all these pictures and post them on Instagram, and because I have the bandage there, it looks like I'm leering like this, and I'm like frowning even though I'm smiling because the bandage looks like I'm frowning. Anyway, I decided not to wear that today so that I wouldn't look like I was frowning, because I'm very excited to tell you guys what a success I was at the DMV testing for my license yesterday. I have been anxious about going, so I guess this could count as a, I conquer anxiety episode, kind of, because, I just really have this fear of like being inadequate, being not good enough, and I just kept thinking, I'm not going to pay to go for my test, I'm just going to have to keep taking it. But they assured me that I only had to pay the one time, so that's cool. So it wouldn't have mattered anyway. It doesn't matter anyway. And they gave me my little number, they sent me to the test room after all the time I spent waiting in the line, and all the time I spent paying for stuff and taking a picture that looks absolutely horrible. So yeah, my driver's license is going to be pretty hideous. Anyway, I go into the room, and I was a little nervous about the written test, didn't know what it was going to have on there. My theory was I wasn't going to study the information again right beforehand, like cram it, because I'm an anxious driver and I want to know that I know the information. I don't want to think that I got a license because I crammed it the night before out of a book. So it's just like, if I fail this, I deserve to fail this, and I deserve to go back and relearn how I'm driving, because I've been driving all this time on these rules. I better know them. So you only had to get 32 answers correct, and I didn't realize you couldn't get more than that, because actually it stops the test when you get to 32. And I was nervous because I did get a few wrong, and I was just like, if I get to the end of the 40 questions, which is all there were, I don't have 32 right, I failed. So you can only get like 8 wrong, and I assume that they would also stop the test if you had 8 wrong. But anyway, so the test stopped and said, congratulations, you're good enough, you passed. And I was like, woohoo. So I went back out, and they're just like, you passed that. If you want to have your road test, we have like a couple of openings this afternoon. And the first thing I said was no. And then I was just like, no, next week, a bunch of stuff to do. I have to start writing my novel for November. And I was just like, I don't want to have to worry about that too. So I was like, you know what, just give me this afternoon. Hopefully I'll pass it and I won't have to do it again. And I was feeling pretty confident because I was like, well, I mean, they gave me 40 minutes to do that test. I aced it in 10 minutes, so probably pretty fabulous. No, I'm kidding. I didn't think that. I thought I was going to get into an accident when I was in the car at the examiner. Anyway, so I came back at the time for my road test, and I did really, really well. The dude said that the only problem with me was when I went to write lane change, I didn't look over my shoulder enough, except I failed because aside from all those other things, something else happened. And any of you who have been like directed in driving school might have experienced this. I experienced it in driving school and with my mom too sometimes. When other people are directing you driving, sometimes they are so wishy-washy about what lane you're supposed to get in, and anyway, so we come up to a lane, there's 2 lanes, there's a stop sign, a stoplight. He's like, okay, get into this lane and then we're turning left. And we're in a lane, and I said, this lane. And he says, yeah. So I keep going slowly because I was not sure. And he was like, and I'm just like, what? He's like, that lane. So he met the lane next to us, and he didn't really tell me we had to switch. So now we're sitting at a light, cars are moving, we're trying to switch into the other lane so that we can go around the designated route. And I was nervous about the other cars hitting me because they're trying to take the light while it's green, and I'm trying to get into their lane while we're all stopped. It's really difficult. It's not like on the highway where there's gaps that the cars are like butt to butt and you have to get in there. And so I was trying to keep moving once we got in the line, but we were like the top people because the light was turning, and it actually turned red before I crossed over the crosswalk. So I actually ran a red light on my driving test. I have only ever done that one other time in my life, and it was semi an accident. I was driving in the rain, and I was coming up too fast to the light. There was nobody else coming, and it was turning red just before I crossed over. I didn't want to slam on the brakes on the wet pavement and skid through the intersection, so I drove through it, and I ran a red light there. But anyway, yeah, that was an immediate failure. He let me finish driving because I guess I wasn't a super unsafe driver, and we also hadn't been hit, so we weren't dead, so why not? I guess he figured. And so we finished, and yeah, he gave me that report that I would have got my license if I hadn't ran that red light. So, I mean, hopefully the next time I go, I can't go again for 10 days, and then hopefully I will not run another red light. But anything's possible now because I would not have guessed that before. So, moral of the story, sometimes your fears are founded, and practically the finger of God will come down out of heaven and cause you to run a red light if somebody's watching you drive. Yeah, that's the end of my story. You have every right to be terrified of going to test for your license, and I'm inspiring lots of children not to try and... I like how I say children because, like, I'm not a child. It's so awkward. They assume that you're gonna get your license, like, when you're the right age, and, like, my mom wouldn't let me because she told me I couldn't. Like, she physically thought I was incapable without never having tried. She thought I couldn't do it. So, like, no wonder I have developmental issues. Anyway, and the guy asked me when we get in the car, he's like, so did you have a license before? Like, he thinks I had super suspended or got my license taken away or something. And I'm like, no, I just wasn't allowed to learn. And he was like, okay. I'm like, that's how it goes in some families, dude. We're not all sitting in the lap of luxury allowed to do things at the right time. But anyway, it goes out to all of you young kids out there. You probably are going to get confused about the lane, probably going to run a red light. It's safer for us all to just walk everywhere, and it reduces the carbon footprint. So walk everywhere.